Hi guys, it's Heidi. Welcome back to my channel. And yeah, it's Sunday. I went and I looked on the calendar. I have been out of church for 15 weeks. Anyway, last night I was thinking, when I was having a shower, and I was thinking, about the shepherds and the genuine shepherds. I'm talking about the ones that look after the sheep, the four-legged sheep. I'm not talking about pastors and things. Well, they came later, but I first started thinking about the genuine shepherds and how they look after their sheep. Now, a good shepherd knows what's going on with his sheep. He knows where the sheep are. He knows there's somebody missing, or one of the sheep are missing, or something's not quite right with the one, or whatever, whatever, whatever. And okay, I hope you've got something underneath that tail. Anyway, yeah. And then I started thinking about, if they see that one of the sheep is missing or whatever, they go look for that sheep. Well, good one does in any case. But like the word of God says, the hired man doesn't care. He's just like, whatever. Anyway, yeah. So, and then I started to think about the people in the church and pastors and the leaders and all that, those people. And I started to think, how many pastors, and when I talk about pastors, I'm talking about them and their wives, right? Those that are married. How many pastors or leaders of the church actually know what's going on in their congregation? Do you know? Do you know what's genuinely going on in your congregation? I was thinking of a conversation I was having with an elderly woman that lives in Georgia. And I went to visit her. Every time I go through to Georgia, I try and visit this auntie. Now, she's an old auntie. I mean, she's in her 80s. And um, she was saying to me one day that her husband, when he was still alive, because it was getting a little bit too much for them. He got ill. It was getting a little bit too much for them to travel to the fellowship where they were fellowshipping, and then sometimes they would get a lift with someone else. So they didn't really drive anymore, because of age and because of illness and what have you. And he said to his wife one day, they are Afrikaans speaking people. So he said to his wife one day in Afrikaans, he says, the church has forgotten about them. The church only knows you when you're there, or know you when, yeah. But they didn't make any effort to contact them, find out if they're okay, you know, just to go and visit and say hello. What's the matter with the church today? And I'm not pointing fingers at any particular denomination or any particular church. I'm talking about churches in general. Where is the compassion? Where is the love, the sense of family? Right? Now, I know in my congregation, when you're there, you get this lovely sense of love and compassion and what have you. Um, and I must admit, the church was very good to me after my husband died. And also during COVID, they were very good to mom and myself. Anyway, but I was just thinking now in general, has the the leaders of the church. I mean, I'm talking about pastors and their wives, and I'm talking about the assistant pastors and their wives, and the the eldership. Where where is yeah? Do they even care? I sometimes question that. So yeah. Anyway, new year, new chapter, new journey. Anyway, guys, it's just something to think about. And yeah, we need to pray for the leaders of the church. We need to pray for the people that govern the church. We need to pray for our government, for a godly government, because yeah, you know, you've got to make sure that there's godly people in government to run the country correctly. All right. And there must be godly people also standing in the pulpit, because it is so sad to see that some people are only there for it's a job. Now, this is for anybody doing any sort of work. Yeah, you do whatever work comes your way, but you need to find that thing where it makes your heart happy. That one particular thing that makes you get up every day and want to face the day. That thing should be your work. Anyway. Okay, guys. I'm gonna cut it off here. I'm getting hot. I must go back home. Okay, lots and lots of love. Bye.